Today I want to come to pastors and believers all over America and challenge them to keep Israel in the forefront of your minds and your ministries. The Bible has much to say about Israel as we come to this subject. In Psalm 122 and verse 6, it talks about praying for Israel. It says, "Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee." Psalm 122 and verse 6. We need to pray for Israel. Genesis 12 and verse 3 says, "I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families," I thought that was interesting, our families can be blessed. "All the families of the earth shall be blessed." It says, "In thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed." We need to bless Israel and see God's blessings. It's not time for us to abandon our main ally in this world. I've been doing a personal study recently in the book of Jeremiah, and just enjoying the time, taking my time as I was going through in chapter 50, verses 17 through 19. The Bible talks about Israel and talks about how Israel would be scattered, and they are all over this world right now. And it says this, Israel is a scattered sheep in verse 17. Verse 19, but he says this, "I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel," that's Mount Carmel, and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. Bashan is there east of the Sea of Galilee. And it talks about how they are going to come together eventually and have pasture. Of course, I know that this is talking about the prophetical times and the end times, because it speaks about Israel, no sin in Israel and no iniquity in Judah. And of course, we understand that that'll be a time when the Messiah comes back. But I really believe that we need to focus on Israel in this day and not let other things. There's a lot of noise here in Washington, D.C., a lot of different issues that are coming up. Ukraine, there's the Justice Department, there's all these different hearings going on. And if we don't watch it, we'll let that go. But our churches and believers need to make a choice to pray for Israel, to bless Israel, and to realize they're God's children, and that we emphasize that in our day. They're America's greatest ally. Israel is surrounded, really, by Arab nations. It's the size of New Jersey, and yet the heart of it's carved out for the West Bank of Israel is carved out, and they use this phrase. They're teaching children the phrase, and they don't even know what they're saying, "from the river to the sea," pushing them from the Jordan River out to the Mediterranean Sea, and obliterating Israel is basically what the thought of that term is. We find that this week, or in the past weeks, ICC, the International Criminal Court, is now after Netanyahu because he's defending his nation. We understand this. Hezbollah just yesterday fired a missile into northern Israel to destroy their Iron Dome, which protects them from missiles coming in. And we understand this. Israel will respond when things like this happen. We understand that Israel is defending themselves. Babies were beheaded, women were raped. As we look at it, there's still hostages, dead and alive. Bodies haven't even been turned over. They value the bodies of their children and want to have proper burials. Yet Hamas terrorists will not turn over, and yet the nation, our administration, is now calling for a ceasefire. They don't want to eliminate Hamas, yet we find that Hamas is a terrorist group who shields its terrorists. They shield their military with women and children. And it's a terrible thing when Israel responds. terrible things happen. And yet, war is a terrible thing. Recently I heard a senator speaking on the subject of Israel, and he was telling about their school and their schools and education on Gaza Strip. And he said Hamas is teaching, when they're teaching math to the children, they'll say, well, you have 10 Jews and you kill 6 of them. How many Jews do you have left? I've found in past times when I've been to Israel that they actually give their children trading cards of folks, terrorists that have blown themselves up, and now they have a trading card rather than a baseball card. They have a favorite terrorist that they want to be like. I've heard from the senator that Saudi Arabia would like to come in and take the schooling of these children and teach them proper subjects rather than being a death cult there in the schools. We find that we need in this day to just keep this at the forefront. What can we do in our churches? We can pray for them, we can bless them, and we can mention things that are happening and keep the news of what is happening in Israel. Just recently, I don't know why, but I was invited to a celebration. God's allowed me to be involved with Israel a lot. I've been there 14 times and just had an opportunity to be all over the country and meet the dignitaries and things. And it's been a wonderful relationship, but I got an invite on Capitol Hill to go to the Jewish Heritage Celebration on Capitol Hill. As I sat in the middle of the Jewish contingent, I thought my friends would be there. I only had one friend show up, and the rest of them, where it was just a major room filled with Jewish individuals, old and young, and senators and representatives speaking and blessing the nation of Israel. I sat there and listened as they mourned the death. They mourned the hostages. They shared their love for America and their desire for America to love them. It was an amazing time as I spent that time there to hear these Jewish individuals crying out for their nation. Yesterday, I heard it was announced on Capitol Hill that by the Speaker of the House that Netanyahu will be coming. Mr. Netanyahu will be coming to speak to our Congress here in a few weeks here in Congress, and so that's an exciting news for us. Now, some people don't want him to come, and we've even heard that some of our representatives and senators may not even show up to hear Netanyahu speak in this day. But we understand. What are you saying, Pastor? Just like the fellows that called me from all over the nation, I've had calls just requesting to get the churches to pray and asking about Israel, what is happening. We need to really focus in on the nation of Israel and pray for them and ask God to protect them in these days as we see these end times growing closer and closer.